You listen to the Power of Now book, published by Wise Office Audiobook. Introduction to the Power of Now. Eckhart Tolle's seminal work, The Power of Now, serves as a profound guide to spiritual enlightenment and personal transformation. At its core, the book advocates for living fully in the present moment, a state where true peace and fulfillment reside. Tolle posits that much of human suffering stems from an over-identification with thoughts about the past or future, which disconnects individuals from the reality of the present. This disconnection not only clouds one's perception, but also perpetuates cycles of anxiety, regret, and dissatisfaction. Tolle begins by recounting his own transformative experience, which catalyzed his journey into deeper understanding and teaching of spiritual awareness. His narrative is both personal and universal, offering readers insights drawn from various spiritual traditions, yet presented in a manner accessible to contemporary audiences. The central theme of the book revolves around the concept of presence, or being fully engaged with the now, which Tolle argues is the key to unlocking a life free from unnecessary suffering and filled with genuine joy. In exploring these themes, Tolle delves into practical strategies for achieving presence, emphasizing the importance of mindfulness and conscious awareness in everyday life. He challenges readers to observe their thoughts without attachment, suggesting that this detachment allows one to transcend the ego-driven mind. By doing so, individuals can access a deeper consciousness that is inherently peaceful and content. This introductory section sets the stage for a deeper exploration of how embracing the present moment can lead to profound changes in one's life. As we progress through the summary, we will unpack the mechanisms of thought patterns that hinder our ability to live in the now, and explore the transformative power of shifting our focus to the present. Through this journey, Tolle's teachings offer not just theoretical knowledge, but a practical pathway to achieving inner peace and spiritual awakening. Understanding the ego, the barrier to living in the present. In The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle identifies the ego as one of the primary obstacles preventing individuals from experiencing the fullness of the present moment. According to Tolle, the ego is not merely a sense of self-importance or arrogance. Rather, it encompasses the entire mental-emotional construct that humans develop throughout their lives. This construct includes beliefs, memories, identifications, and roles that people adopt to define themselves in relation to the world. While the ego provides a framework for navigating daily life, it simultaneously acts as a barrier to true presence and peace. The ego thrives on the past and future, two realms that exist only in thought. It constantly pulls attention away from the now, anchoring individuals in regrets about what has already happened, or anxieties about what might occur. For instance, someone who clings to past grievances may find themselves trapped in a cycle of resentment, unable to let go and move forward. Similarly, excessive worry about future outcomes creates a state of perpetual tension, robbing the individual of the serenity available in the present moment. These thought patterns are insidious because they often masquerade as necessary for survival or success, convincing individuals that dwelling on them is productive. Moreover, the ego operates through identification with external circumstances and internal narratives. People frequently define themselves by their achievements, possessions, relationships, or even their perceived failures. This attachment leads to a fragile sense of self-worth that fluctuates based on external validation or rejection. For example, someone who ties their identity to career success may feel devastated by professional setbacks, losing sight of their intrinsic value beyond titles or accolades. Likewise, the ego feeds on comparison, fostering feelings of inadequacy or superiority depending on how one measures up against others. Such comparisons keep individuals trapped in a mental loop, further distancing them from the clarity and stillness of the present moment. Another critical way the ego obstructs presence is through incessant thinking. Tolle describes the mind as a tool that, when left unchecked, becomes a tyrant. The untrained mind generates a continuous stream of thoughts, many of which are repetitive, negative, or irrelevant to the current situation. This mental chatter distracts individuals from direct experience, creating a layer of separation between them and the reality unfolding around them. For instance, during a beautiful sunset, instead of immersing oneself in the awe-inspiring moment, the mind might be preoccupied with analyzing the scene, planning the next activity, or reminiscing about past sunsets. In such moments, the beauty of the now remains inaccessible, filtered through the lens of thought rather than experienced directly. The ego also perpetuates suffering by resisting what is. Tolle explains that much of human pain arises not from the events themselves, but from resistance to them. When reality does not align with the ego's expectations, frustration, anger, or despair ensues. For example, encountering unexpected traffic might trigger irritation because it disrupts plans, even though the traffic itself is a neutral event. This resistance stems from the ego's need to control outcomes and maintain its constructed version of reality. By clinging to how things should be, individuals miss the opportunity to embrace life as it unfolds, moment by moment. To transcend the limitations imposed by the ego, Tolle emphasizes the importance of recognizing its influence. Awareness is the first step toward liberation. By observing the ego's patterns without judgment, individuals can begin to disidentify from them. This process involves noticing when thoughts arise and realizing that these thoughts do not define who they truly are. For instance, feeling angry does not mean one is anger. It simply means anger is present. Such distinctions create space between the individual and their thoughts, allowing them to respond consciously rather than react automatically. Ultimately, the ego's grip loosens when attention shifts from the mind to the body. Tolle suggests that grounding oneself in physical sensations anchors awareness in the present moment, bypassing the ego's dominance. Simple practices like focusing on the breath, feeling the weight of the body against a chair, or noticing the texture of objects can bring immediate relief from the ego's relentless commentary. These exercises remind individuals that they are more than their thoughts. They are beings capable of experiencing life directly, free from the distortions of the ego. Through these insights, Tolle lays bare the mechanisms by which the ego obstructs presence and perpetuates suffering. By understanding and dismantling its influence, individuals can begin to reclaim their innate the nature of thought and its impact on presence. In The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle delves deeply into the nature of thought, presenting it as both a powerful tool and a potential obstacle to living fully in the present moment. Thoughts, according to Tolle, are not inherently problematic. They become problematic when they dominate our consciousness and pull us away from the immediacy of the now. This domination often manifests as incessant mental chatter, an unceasing flow of ideas, judgments, and narratives that distract us from experiencing life as it unfolds. To illustrate, consider the act of walking in nature. Instead of immersing oneself in the sensory richness of the environment, the rustling leaves, the scent of earth, the play of light on water, the mind may wander into planning mode, replaying past conversations, or critiquing one's surroundings. This disengagement from the present diminishes the depth of experience and reinforces a sense of separation from the world. Tolle introduces the concept of the pain body, a term he uses to describe the accumulated emotional residue of past suffering that resides within the psyche. The pain body is sustained and amplified by habitual patterns of negative thinking. When triggered, it generates a feedback loop of distressing emotions and thoughts, which further entrench the individual in a state of inner turmoil. For example, someone who harbors unresolved grief may find themselves repeatedly revisiting painful memories, each recollection intensifying their sorrow. Over time, this cyclical process solidifies the pain body, making it increasingly difficult to break free from its grip. The pain body not only distorts one's perception of reality, but also perpetuates a false sense of identity rooted in suffering. To counteract the disruptive influence of thought, Tolle advocates for cultivating awareness of the present moment. Awareness, in this context, refers to the ability to observe thoughts without becoming entangled in them. This practice involves recognizing thoughts as transient phenomena that arise and pass away, rather than as absolute truths or directives. By stepping back and viewing thoughts from a place of detached observation, individuals can interrupt the automatic reactions that often accompany them. For instance, instead of reacting impulsively to a surge of anger, one can pause and acknowledge the emotion as a passing cloud in the sky of consciousness. This simple act of recognition creates a gap between stimulus and response, allowing for more deliberate and mindful actions. Practical exercises form a cornerstone of Tolle's approach to transcending the tyranny of thought. One such exercise is the practice of focusing on the breath. By directing attention to the rhythm of inhalation and exhalation, individuals anchor themselves in the physical sensations of the present moment. This grounding technique helps to quiet the mind and dissolve the illusion of separateness created by excessive thinking. Another effective method is engaging in sensory awareness, whether it's savoring the taste of food, feeling the texture of fabric, or listening intently to sounds. Immersing oneself in sensory experiences fosters a direct connection to the now. These practices serve as reminders that life is experienced through the senses, not through the filter of thought. Tolle also encourages readers to embrace silence as a gateway to presence. Silence, he explains, is not merely the absence of noise, but a profound stillness that underlies all existence. By carving out moments of silence in daily life, whether through meditation, solitary walks, or simply sitting quietly, one can access a deeper dimension of consciousness. In this state, thoughts lose their urgency and compulsiveness, revealing their ephemeral nature. Silence thus acts as a sanctuary from the ceaseless activity of the mind, offering a respite where true peace can be found. Through these insights and practices, Tolle underscores the transformative potential of shifting one's relationship with thought. By learning to observe thoughts without attachment, individuals can reclaim their innate capacity to live fully in the present. This shift not only dissolves the barriers erected by the pain body, but also opens the door to a richer, more authentic experience of life. As awareness deepens, the distinction between the thinker and the observer begins to blur, leading to a profound realization: the essence of who we are transcends the confines of thought, existing in a timeless state of pure presence. Embracing the present moment. Techniques for cultivating mindfulness. In The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle outlines several practical techniques designed to help individuals anchor themselves in the present moment, thereby enhancing their mindfulness and presence. Central to these techniques is the emphasis on breath awareness, which serves as a foundational practice for cultivating a deeper connection with the now. Tolle suggests that by focusing on the breath, individuals can effectively quiet the incessant chatter of the mind and ground themselves in the physical sensations of the present. This practice involves paying close attention to the natural rhythm of breathing, noticing the cool air entering the nostrils and the warm air exiting, and feeling the rise and fall of the chest or abdomen. Such focused attention not only calms the nervous system, but also creates a bridge between the mind and body, facilitating a state of heightened awareness. Complementing breath awareness is the practice of body scanning, another technique Tolle recommends for fostering presence. Body scanning involves mentally moving through different parts of the body, from head to toe, and observing any sensations without judgment. This practice encourages individuals to reconnect with their physical selves, often neglected amidst the distractions of daily life. By tuning into bodily sensations, whether it's the pressure of feet against the floor, the texture of clothing against the skin, or the subtle pulsations of energy within, it becomes possible to anchor awareness firmly in the present. This heightened bodily awareness not only enhances mindfulness, but also serves as a powerful antidote to the disconnection fostered by excessive thinking. Tolle also emphasizes the importance of sensory engagement as a means of staying present. Engaging fully with the senses, sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell, allows individuals to experience life directly, bypassing the interpretive filters of the mind. For instance, when eating a meal, one can savor each bite by focusing on the flavors, textures, and aromas, rather than rushing through the experience while lost in thought. Similarly, taking a walk in nature can become an immersive experience by paying attention to the colors of the leaves, the songs of birds, and the feel of the breeze on the skin. These moments of sensory immersion not only deepen one's connection to the present, but also cultivate a sense of gratitude and wonder for the richness of life. Another powerful technique Tolle discusses is the practice of conscious observation. This involves stepping back and observing thoughts, emotions, and external events as they arise, without becoming entangled in them. For example, if a wave of anxiety washes over, instead of identifying with it or trying to suppress it, one can simply observe it as a passing phenomenon. This practice of detachment creates a space between the individual and their thoughts, allowing for greater clarity and choice in how to respond. Over time, conscious observation weakens the grip of the ego and fosters a deeper sense of inner peace. Finally, Tolle highlights the transformative potential of embracing stillness and silence. In a world characterized by constant noise and activity, finding moments of stillness can be profoundly restorative. Whether through meditation, sitting quietly in nature, or simply pausing during a busy day, these moments of stillness provide an opportunity to connect with the underlying essence of being. In silence, the mind's compulsive activity subsides, revealing a spaciousness and clarity that are often obscured by thought. This practice not only deepens one's presence, but also nurtures a sense of interconnectedness with all of life. Through these techniques, breath awareness, body scanning, sensory engagement, conscious observation, and embracing stillness, Tolle offers a comprehensive toolkit for cultivating mindfulness and presence. Each practice, whether practiced individually or in combination, serves as a gateway to the now, enabling individuals to transcend the limitations of the mind and experience life with greater depth and authenticity. By integrating these practices into daily life, one can gradually dismantle the barriers to presence and awaken to the profound peace and joy that reside in the present moment. Transformative effects of living in the present, emotional freedom, and inner peace. One of the most profound transformations described in The Power of Now is the liberation from emotional suffering and the attainment of inner peace. When individuals learn to anchor themselves in the present moment, they begin to disentangle from the web of past regrets and future anxieties that often dominate their emotional landscape. This shift in focus from the mind's incessant chatter to the immediacy of the now allows for a radical reorientation of one's inner experience. Tolle emphasizes that emotional freedom arises not from changing external circumstances, but from transforming one's relationship with those circumstances. By observing emotions without identification, individuals can prevent them from spiraling into prolonged states of suffering. For instance, instead of being consumed by anger or sadness, one learns to witness these emotions as temporary energies that arise and dissolve. This non-reactive stance creates a buffer between the individual and their emotions, reducing their intensity and duration. Inner peace, according to Tolle, is not a distant goal, but a natural state that emerges when the mind ceases to dominate consciousness. He describes it as a deep sense of stillness and contentment that exists beneath the turbulence of thoughts and emotions. This peace is always accessible, regardless of external conditions, because it originates from a place beyond the ego's concerns. A poignant example of this transformation is the story of a woman who struggled with chronic anxiety. Through practicing presence, she learned to recognize the anxious thoughts as mere mental constructs rather than realities demanding her attention. Over time, this awareness allowed her to step out of the anxiety loop, replacing it with a calm acceptance of the present moment. Her newfound peace was not contingent on resolving her external challenges, but stemmed from her ability to remain centered amidst them. The dissolution of suffering is another cornerstone of living in the present. Tolle asserts that much of human suffering is self-created, arising from resistance to what is. When individuals resist the present moment, whether through denial, judgment, or attempts to control, they inadvertently amplify their pain. For example, someone stuck in traffic might experience frustration not because of the traffic itself, but because of their resistance to it. By accepting the situation as it is, without overlaying it with negative thoughts, the emotional charge dissipates, leaving only the neutral facts of the moment. This acceptance does not imply passivity, but rather an alignment with reality, which paradoxically empowers individuals to respond more effectively. A man burdened by financial difficulties, for instance, might initially feel overwhelmed by fear and despair. However, by embracing the present reality without resistance, he can channel his energy into constructive action rather than being paralyzed by negativity. Tolle also highlights the role of forgiveness in dissolving suffering. Holding on to grievances against others or oneself keeps individuals tethered to the past, perpetuating cycles of pain. By forgiving, not as an act of condoning, but as a release of the emotional charge associated with the grievance, individuals free themselves from the weight of resentment. A striking example is a father estranged from his child due to past conflicts. Through the practice of presence, he comes to see that his suffering stems not from the estrangement itself, but from his attachment to the story of betrayal. By letting go of this narrative and embracing the present moment, he opens the door to reconciliation and healing. These examples underscore the transformative power of living in the present. Emotional freedom, inner peace, and the dissolution of suffering are not abstract ideals, but tangible outcomes of consistent presence. They arise naturally when individuals shift their focus from the mind's constructs to the reality of the now. This shift not only alleviates personal suffering, but also fosters a deeper connection to life, enabling individuals to navigate challenges with grace and resilience. Through these stories, Tolle illustrates that the path to transformation is not about escaping life's difficulties, but about meeting them with awareness and acceptance, thereby uncovering the peace that lies within. Overcoming resistance to presence, practical strategies and insights. While the benefits of living in the present moment are profound, many individuals encounter significant resistance when attempting to integrate this practice into their daily lives. This resistance often stems from deeply ingrained habits of thought and behavior, societal conditioning, and the ego's reluctance to relinquish control. In The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle addresses these challenges with compassion and clarity, offering practical strategies to help readers navigate the obstacles they face on the path to presence. One common hurdle is the belief that living in the present requires abandoning responsibilities or ignoring practical concerns. Many people fear that focusing on the now might render them unproductive or disconnected from their goals. Tolle counters this misconception by emphasizing that presence does not negate action but enhances it. He explains that when individuals operate from a state of awareness, their actions become more intentional and aligned with the needs of the moment. For example, a student preparing for exams might worry that practicing mindfulness will detract from study time. However, by bringing full attention to their studies, immersing themselves in the material without distraction, they can absorb information more effectively and reduce stress. This integration of presence and productivity demonstrates that the two are not mutually exclusive, but complementary. Another frequent challenge is the discomfort that arises when confronting the contents of the mind. The ego often resists the practice of observing thoughts because it perceives this awareness as a threat to its dominance. Individuals may feel overwhelmed by the sheer volume of mental activity or discouraged by the persistence of negative patterns. Tolle reassures readers that this discomfort is a natural part of the process and advises patience and gentleness with oneself. He suggests starting with short periods of mindfulness practice, gradually increasing the duration as one becomes more comfortable. For instance, someone struggling with intrusive thoughts might begin by focusing on their breath for just 5 minutes a day. Over time, this practice builds resilience, enabling them to observe their thoughts without becoming entangled in them. Societal conditioning also plays a significant role in resisting presence. Modern culture often glorifies busyness and multitasking, equating constant activity with success and worthiness. This mindset makes it difficult for individuals to justify slowing down and prioritizing stillness. Tolle challenges this narrative by highlighting the inefficiency of operating from a scattered, distracted state. He illustrates this point with the example of a corporate executive who prided herself on juggling multiple tasks simultaneously. Despite her apparent productivity, she felt perpetually stressed and unfulfilled. By incorporating brief moments of mindfulness into her day, such as pausing to breathe before meetings or taking a mindful walk during lunch, she discovered a renewed sense of clarity and purpose. Her performance improved, and she found greater satisfaction in her work, demonstrating that presence enhances rather than hinders effectiveness. Fear of the unknown is another barrier that Tolle addresses with insight and encouragement. The ego thrives on familiarity and predictability, making the uncertainty of the present moment feel unsettling. Individuals may cling to past identities or future aspirations as a way of avoiding the vulnerability of simply being. Tolle invites readers to view this fear as an opportunity for growth, reminding them that true freedom lies in embracing the unknown. He shares the story of a woman who had spent years defining herself by her career achievements. When she faced a period of unemployment, she initially resisted the experience, fearing it would diminish her sense of self-worth. However, by surrendering to the present moment and exploring new interests, she uncovered hidden passions and talents that enriched her life in unexpected ways. This example illustrates how letting go of familiar constructs can open doors to unforeseen possibilities. Finally, Tolle acknowledges the role of impatience in hindering progress. Many individuals expect immediate results from their efforts to live in the present, becoming discouraged when transformation does not occur overnight. He reminds readers that presence is a lifelong practice, not a quick fix. Small, consistent actions yield profound changes over time. For instance, someone practicing gratitude might initially struggle to find things to appreciate in their daily life. However, by persistently acknowledging even the smallest blessings, such as a sunny day or a kind word from a stranger, they gradually cultivate a mindset of abundance and joy. This incremental approach underscores the importance of patience and perseverance on interconnectedness and oneness, the spiritual dimensions of presence. In The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle delves into the profound spiritual implications of living in the present moment, emphasizing the interconnectedness of all beings and the dissolution of the illusion of separateness. At the heart of this exploration is the concept of oneness, a state of consciousness where the boundaries between the self and the external world dissolve, revealing a deeper unity that underlies all existence. Tolle posits that the ego, with its incessant need to define and separate, perpetuates the illusion of isolation, creating a fragmented perception of reality. By contrast, presence allows individuals to transcend this limited perspective and experience the interconnected web of life. One of the most transformative aspects of presence is the realization that the sense of I, as a separate entity, is a construct of the mind. Tolle explains that this illusory self is sustained by identification with thoughts, emotions, and external roles, all of which reinforce the belief in separateness. For instance, someone who defines themselves primarily as a professional may feel disconnected from others outside their field or social circle. However, when attention shifts from the mind to the present moment, this constructed identity begins to loosen its grip. In the stillness of presence, individuals encounter a deeper essence, an awareness that is not bound by labels or roles. This awareness reveals that the same consciousness animates all living beings, fostering a sense of kinship with the world. The dissolution of separateness brings with it a profound shift in how individuals relate to others and the environment. Tolle illustrates this transformation through the example of a man who, after years of strained relationships, began practicing presence in his interactions. By listening deeply and responding from a place of awareness rather than reaction, he noticed a remarkable change in his connections with others. Conversations became more meaningful, conflicts diminished, and a sense of mutual understanding emerged. This shift was not the result of external changes, but of an internal realignment with the truth of interconnectedness. As the man recognized the shared humanity in those around him, his interactions were infused with compassion and empathy, qualities that naturally arise when the illusion of separateness dissolves. Tolle also explores how presence fosters a harmonious relationship with the natural world. Modern society often views nature as a resource to be exploited, reinforcing the perception of humans as separate from and superior to the environment. However, when individuals immerse themselves in the present moment, they begin to experience nature not as an external object, but as an extension of their own being. A woman who regularly practiced mindfulness in nature described how her walks in the forest transformed from casual strolls into profound encounters with life itself. She noticed the intricate details of leaves, the rhythmic flow of rivers, and the vibrant energy of wildlife, all of which seemed to resonate with her own inner essence. This experience of oneness with nature deepened her reverence for the planet and inspired her to live more sustainably, recognizing that harming the environment was tantamount to harming herself. The spiritual dimension of presence extends beyond interpersonal and environmental connections to encompass a universal awareness. Tolle speaks of the formless aspect of consciousness, a timeless, spaceless dimension that underlies all forms and phenomena. This formless essence is accessible in moments of deep presence, where the mind's chatter subsides, and one experiences a profound stillness. In this state, the distinctions between subject and object, self and other, dissolve, revealing the indivisible nature of existence. A practitioner of meditation shared how, during a particularly profound session, she felt herself merge with the universe, experiencing an overwhelming sense of love and unity. This glimpse of oneness left her with a lasting understanding that all life is interconnected, and that her individual well-being is inseparable from the well-being of the whole. Through these insights, Tolle underscores the transformative power of presence to reveal the interconnectedness of all beings and dissolve the illusion of separateness. By shifting from a fragmented, ego-driven perspective to a unified, awareness-based consciousness, individuals not only enhance their relationships and connection to the environment, but also awaken to the deeper truth of their existence. This realization of oneness is not merely an intellectual concept, but a lived experience that brings profound peace, compassion, and a sense of belonging to the vast tapestry of life. Conclusion: the transformative journey of living in the present. Throughout The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle masterfully articulates the profound significance of embracing the present moment as the cornerstone of personal transformation and spiritual awakening. At its essence, the book challenges readers to transcend the limitations imposed by the ego and the incessant chatter of the mind, inviting them to discover the boundless peace and clarity that reside in the now. Tolle's teachings underscore that the present moment is not merely a fleeting phase in the continuum of time, but the very locus of life itself, a sacred space where true fulfillment and liberation can be found. The overarching message of the book is clear. The present moment holds the key to breaking free from the cycles of suffering perpetuated by attachment to the past and anxiety about the future. By cultivating awareness and presence, individuals can dismantle the barriers erected by the ego, dissolve the illusion of separateness, and awaken to the interconnectedness of all existence. This shift in consciousness is not an abstract ideal, but a tangible reality that unfolds through consistent practice and intention. From the dissolution of emotional suffering to the emergence of inner peace, the transformative effects of living in the present are both profound and far-reaching. As readers reflect on the insights offered in The Power of Now, they are encouraged to embark on their own journey of presence. This journey is not one of perfection, but of gradual awakening, a process marked by moments of clarity interspersed with challenges and resistance. Yet even the smallest steps toward presence yield significant rewards, enriching one's experience of life and fostering a deeper connection to the world. Whether through the simple act of observing the breath, immersing oneself in sensory experiences, or embracing stillness amidst the chaos, the tools for transformation are readily accessible to all. Ultimately, The Power of Now serves as both a guide and an invitation, a call to step out of the shadows of the mind and into the luminous reality of the present. By choosing to live fully in the now, individuals not only reclaim their innate capacity for joy and peace, but also contribute to a collective shift toward greater harmony and interconnectedness. The journey may be challenging at times, but its rewards are immeasurable, offering a pathway to a life lived with authenticity, purpose, and profound fulfillment. You listen to The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I hope you enjoyed listening to this summary audiobook. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel.